The weather's changed, so it's officially build season, and this one's been lingering here for far too long now. Not only that, it's been a separate chassis job, so there has been a chassis and a body here, so that's 2 spaces gone. And last but not least, it's stopping me from building my LT40 lorry. So I think it's about time we get the Navara finished. Starting with today, and we're going to try build a chassis. So let's get into it. Just to get you up to speed, I'm now currently trying to mount everything on the makeshift chassis table. So I'm going to do that, and I will join you back here in a moment where we'll make a plan and put that plan into action. Right, the chassis table is crap. So that is going to get made into a workbench, I think, because of that chassis table. What I've done though, just to bring up to speed where I'm at right this second, I've remounted the leaf springs, remounted the axle to the leaf springs, and I've taken a shed load of measurements. So I've now got measurements from the axle to the cross member, to the front body mounts, to the front cross member, to this mount. So I've got enough measurements now that I'm confident I can just take the axle off, put it in the back room out of the way, and cut the rear of the chassis off, because every single issue with this chassis is on the rear. So obviously, as we know, Navaras, you know, they rot out quite a lot. Now, this cross member, for example, is completely rotted out. Now, the issue we're having with this is, 1, rot, and 2, nothing is square anymore. Now, where this cross member's gone, the chassis rails now aren't square to each other. So I'm just going to cut the whole lot off. And to replace it, I have this pile of plates here. Now, that'll make more sense in a minute. I also have the front bag mounts because we're going to try and do that as well. I'm probably not going to have time, but you never know. Now, those chassis sections will get me from this weld, which is where the chassis becomes bad. They'll get me to about here, where I'm then going to make the next section, which will curve over the axle and hopefully look nice. Then the next section, because this is actually, there's about 3 foot of it still in the back room. So that is the plan, and now we have to execute the plan. So right, I'm going to take the rear axle off, I'm going to pull the chassis table out of the way, get everything out of the way, get the chassis on the floor, and just measure up, because if it's level enough on the floor, then we'll just build it on the floor. That's where I'm at with that. Yeah, just as I thought, chassis table, pointless, because it's actually level on the floor. So I've dropped the front down, so it's sat hard on the cross member, and 40 box under there, and these 2 rails are now dead level. There's a tiny deviation in the side to side, which I'm just going to sort out, and I have marked where I'm going to cut. You can't really see that line because it's right on that weld basically, but that is where, let me hit my head on the ramp. That's where I'm now going to cut. We're going to get rid of that rear chassis. I'm pretty confident in my measurements for the axles. So the only thing I haven't measured is the pinion angle, but I did measure that when we initially took the body off the chassis, and I wrote it somewhere, and I can't remember, but I think it was about 3 degrees. And I've looked on the internet and they say between 2 and 4 is normal, but I can obviously measure it off the box when that's done, but we'll get into that closer to the time. So I'm pretty confident that we can just cut this off because it's all twisted anyway. That rail there is higher than this one, so it's twisted and fucked anyway. So I think we just cut it off and start again. So without further ado, let's get chopping. With that off, you can literally see this cross member wasn't really doing anything anymore. Yeah, I'll pull this out of the way and we'll have a look at this bit of chassis, because I believe from there that way is mint. I'm just going to show you this because, I mean, it's probably irrelevant to a lot of people, but everyone's heard how bad Navaras are. I just thought I'd quickly show you just some of this chassis. Bearing in mind, we really bodged this up once just to get another couple of months out of it after Freya brought it. So bearing in mind, a lot of this has already been welded. Just have a look at this. Right, this is the inner chassis rail. This is obviously, fell off. This whole bit here is gone. Bearing in mind when we put that plate on, none of that was there. It's literally nothing there. It's all gone here. And it's the same on this side. Like the bottom's disappeared. That's all completely gone. Like, shame on you, Nissan. Shame. Right, with that cleaned up, I don't know how well you can see that, but the chassis is actually pretty mint inside. So I'm happy with that. The whole thing is going to need a clean up on the outside and coating and like a cavity wax type stuff sprayed in it. Because I don't trust it. I don't trust Nissan. But I also don't have the time or facilities to make a full chassis, so we're going to go with the front half because it seems pretty good. Now, next on the list is going to be tacking these. I lift up now, there's no weight, but tacking these onto here. Gone outside, inside, inside. Make sure they're round square. Get them tacked on, and then we'll look at bending the top piece, I reckon, to tack that on. The bottoms we'll do after, because I'll probably lift the chassis on the ramp to do the bottoms. So we'll get the outers tacked on, this side and that side. I will do this as a bit of a time lapse or montage, because if the welder's running, you can't actually hear what I'm saying anyway, because the microphone for some reason seems to pick up the Right, turn the welder off for a minute because I don't want to bore you all with time lapses, but also can't do much with it turned on. Right, so what I've done is, you probably saw, tack this edge one on. I had to put this bit of box on just to hold it square to the chassis. I've then put the back side on and started putting the top on. Now normally, whenever I've done this, I've normally put the outer on both sides on and then ran a level across the two and then just lifted the inside ones up to that. But I want to see if I can bend this 5mm. I want to see if I can bend that in situ. So sort of tack, pull it up, tack, pull it up. It's probably going to go wrong, but I thought I'd try one before I'd done the other one. So, as not to be too boring, I will get some fairly chuggish welds on here just to hold it all, but not fully weld it in case I have to cut it off, and we're just going to see if we can bend that up. So I'll do that now, and then we'll take a look at bending this. Also, I've done these plates so they're flush with the chassis. The top one's not quite, my mistake. I didn't measure it perfect. And the reason being is I'm going to put fish plates on the outside. So I'll weld all this, fully weld, and then there'll be a big plate on here, both sides, because that's the way I decided to do it. So that's how I've done it. So, in an unexpected turn of events, this has actually gone well. I didn't see it coming, and I doubt you did either, but it's actually gone quite well. So what I've done was put some welds on here, here, couple, nothing fancy. And then tack, then a decent weld here because this was before the bend. So then I literally, just pulled it up, tried to follow it and just tacked as I went round to the end. These are actually just lengths that would fit on the cutter, so there was no measuring, so I'm quite lucky it was actually about an inch too long rather than an inch too short. But I'll do the same on the bottom. Oh, I laid the bottom one in there just to keep the space in as well. I'll do the same on the bottom, but I'll have to start from this end, I think, and try and get that first bend in, because if I start here, once I fold up, that'll obviously be through that one and it just won't work. So I'll probably have to start that way, maybe put a little bend in the folder first or something, but even if I have to do all of that bottom bend on the folder, at least the top has saved a load of time. So I'm going to weld that up now. And then, should I weld it? What's happening in my head? I'm thinking if I weld that without the bottom in, there's a high chance that this will actually pull closer together or further apart. So I may be better off just putting some good stitches on that to hold it in place, not actually seam welding it till the bottom's done. Against my better judgment, I welded it all up because I just want to get this truck done. So I thought rather than tacking it and then going back later while I'm here, might as well weld it. Now, I put this in the bottom just to keep the space in, and luckily for me, it actually all worked out. The welds could have been slightly better if I set myself up better, but let's be honest, they're pretty good enough. Next on the list, I think, is this, but that side. So I'm gonna put the other rail on, and then I think we'll roll the axle through, line it up where it goes, measure up and draw up for these next sections, because I'll have to cut them tonight, and it'll give us an idea of actually how the chassis is starting to look. Now, when I mentioned earlier that I'd messed up my measurements a little bit, what I mean is, if you look at the side of this, you can see this 5mm top is on top, so it gives you a nice place to get a nice strong weld. And then once I round these, that's really hot. Once I round these off, you won't even see them. It'll look like this. Now, what I done when I measured was actually measured this side plate as the full height. So if you look at the bottom, where is it? There. It basically means once I put the 5mm on the bottom, that will actually hang lower. That'll hang below the chassis. In the same way that this one is actually above rather than flush. But in the grand scheme of things, I don't think that matters. Well, actually, yeah, I've just turned around and looked, and that's actually how I don't know if you'll see, that's actually how all of the chassis is. That's just on top of itself, so I actually meant to do that. But I'll do the other side now, won't film it, same thing, you've just seen it. And then we'll roll the axle through, and I will film it, and we'll continue with the video. Right, I have welded this side on and pulled the axle back through. I don't want to tell you how long that took, but it was about an hour. It makes me wish I had more friends. I can't get a bolts undone on the prop. So I wheeled it back through with the prop attached, and it was a nightmare. But now I can see, I need to level it up slightly. It's pretty much within sort of 5mm where it's going to be. The side to side's not set, but the backwards and forwards is pretty much where it's going to be. Now I need to plan chassis shape. So I'm going to run the bags on top of the axle, and I will bring the chassis now, probably from here somewhere, up and along. Now it's 2.7 inches, I think, is a compressed dominator, so I'll go for 3-inch clearance. So I'll come along, up, flat through this section, and then down pretty close behind the axle. I'll go straight down back to about an inch lower than this height is where the original chassis would have sat. So I'll come pretty much straight down and across. So then if I run, I don't know if I'm going to run a Panhard or a Watts link yet on the back of this, but that will give me somewhere to put that back on. So the sensible thing to do would be make this out of cardboard rather than just risking it like I normally do. So I'm either going to do that, or the next clip you'll see will be me cutting it at home. Monday morning. I've come in early to try and get this done before I have to start down the giveaway van. I'm not great with early mornings, but you know, sometimes you've got to do these things. Now I haven't, a couple of things. I haven't tried them yet. Not that that matters to you because I could just say that. It doesn't mean it's true, but I haven't actually tried them yet. What I wanted to do is just quickly jump on here in the middle of this video and say, Black Friday, I'm not much of a consumer, so I was planning to do it next Friday till Monday, but apparently Black Friday is actually like a month. Didn't know that. So, what I'm going to do is Friday to Monday will be 20% off everything, but if you use your code YouTube, that'll be an extra 10, so that'll be 30% off. And I'm doing these jumpers in about 15 different colours, along with crew necks, t-shirts. They'll all be on there in shitloads of colours because the world is dark enough as it is, so I thought I'd bring a bit of colour to it. And also the spark plug t-shirts, which I'll put a picture in here somewhere. I've had loads of people message me asking about them, and I wasn't ever going to run them again, but because everyone keeps asking, I'm going to do them again for Black Friday, so you can get them for, if your wives, your partners are listening, you can buy them now for your husbands or wives in time for Christmas, and they're a little bit cheap. And one last thing about Black Friday, it's going to be double or triple entries. This will all be on a post on Instagram, and I'll post it on here as well. I don't normally, but I'll post it on both. So yes, that's all. Back to the video. Just quickly before I have my cup of tea. I reckon it's right, you know. But just I go and double check the measurements of this, get this exactly where I want it, and then I'm going to cut this one or that one down. I made it slightly longer in case I had done it wrong. And put that exactly where we want it. Right, what I've done is taken an inch, you can see the line on that one, off the end. I then tacked another straight bar I had along the top, so it was easier for me to push that on. I then V'd out that joint and tacked that on and levelled this off. So, oh, tripping over. You can sort of see the shape of it now. Obviously the bag will sit under the chassis there. Four link will go on over there. So, it's all starting to come together. Now I will probably have to wait for Chris to come in, because if I tackle them on, I can't then get the axle back out, but I can't do the outer ones with the wheels in the way. So I'm probably going to have to wait for Chris to come in. Then I'll quickly get these welded up, and then at the end of the day when I'm done with the giveaway van, I'll jump back on this, and I guess we've got to look next at cleaning off the axle and mounting the forelink. I reckon. Right, it's 4 o'clock now, and I've done my bit on the giveaway van for the day, so I kind of want to get this chassis tied up today, so I'm back on this now. So if the giveaway van isn't done in time, then you can all blame me. But what I am currently doing is, it's taken an absolute lifetime. I'm dropping these ramp arms down because I've put a strap round it, and oh yeah, look, it's all welded up. Forgot to show that. I'm going to run that strap under it and use the ramp to lift. I mean, it might work, it might not. I'm going to use the ramp to lift it so I can slide the axle back under, because I'll have to put the forelink on. And also, Chris has just gone to the steel place to get me some of this 150 box to go in the chassis to make up the rear hoop, because it's dead straight. So the plan was always just to use 150 box rather than waste a load of 5mm sheet, because it's got no bends or anything in it. So that's where we're at. I'm going to lift this up, and Chris will be back in a minute. I'll record it in case it goes wrong. But I'm hopeful. Never doubted it. I've got you can hear how out of breath I am. I've got the axle in position. I don't think it's anything that makes me that angry apart from maybe fitting tyres when something goes wrong. But I'm now lowering it back down. I've left it in this big frame so I can position this frame and obviously that chassis to get that to stay in the right position. But first on the list is putting the rear of the chassis on. So we'll do that next. It's Boxman!
Fucking spenny that was. Woo! We got the box! Woo!
I'd help you get it out, but I'm holding the camera.
Yeah. I'll do my bit. I wasn't here at the weekends. Oh wait, or it's still the weekend.
It's an awful big van for a man that just carries a bag of rubbish in a car seat. Now, what we have done here is welded up the rear section square and on the thing, which was actually the apprentice's idea, because initially we put the two lengths of box in the end and you couldn't quite square anything off with it all in, because I think this rail needs to come out about 5mm. But we've now done that, and apprentice! I'll just leave this camera here as we slide it in and there's absolutely no issue with it.
I want a house in the hills I pay big bills for. I ain't got in pocket. I want to empty out my wallet. I want to stop motion, stand still. Wallace and Gromit. I want to talk more endlessly. I want to neurotically vomit. I want more dollars from my mama. I want a palace in Prada. I want a Gucci bag where I can store my sorrows and hardships. I want to gold plate my finance. I want endless tomorrows. I want a lot more than I got right now. But that's the problem. You could give me every little thing I'd ever want, but I'd never have enough till the day I had it all. Yeah, you can give me every little thing I ever want, but I'd never have enough till the day I had it all.
Oh, I see what you want.
Much success. It was mostly,
Most of success.
yeah, that was about 20 minutes of, basically, I haven't put the bottoms on these yet, so when I welded the top of this one, it was fine, and the top of that one, it pulled the bottom in. So I was a bit of a dick, but we've sorted it now. What's left is to weld the bottoms on all of this, and I'm not going to film that because that's boring. And then I think we will put the forelink on, and then there'll be some extra bars and stuff, but they're going to go in after when I know where they need to go. But it is now officially, minus the bottom of that, the least rusty Navara in the UK, I reckon. Apart from some guy who's probably...
This will probably outlive most other Navara.
Yeah, I don't know if that's hard or not. But I should really end the video here, but I think I might try and get the forelink on, so we're going to do that next. But that's tomorrow. So, welcome back.
Hello, you dirty droppers.
Welcome back, droppers. Imagine. So, it is the end of the next day. The bottoms are all welded on. That was horrible. And now we are looking at forelink stuffed. Sponsor me. So, what we're now looking at is mounting this. So, for those who don't know, this does... Chris, why have you tightened this so much? This does suspension. It doesn't.
Jack's arms have really gone through the paces these last couple of days, so normally he'd just bend that.
Anyway, this end is fixed to your chassis. This end goes on the axle, like so. Right, now oh my knees! You set this, you want it parallel to the ground at your drive height. So we've actually set this chassis all up at the drive height now. But the axle needs a little bit of tweaking, but basically we've got to set these parallel and weld them to the chassis. You'll then have your rear, which we'll go on to in a minute. And the bags, if my plans all work, should fit in here. Whether that works or not, we'll see in a minute. But I'm looking at it and it looks like I may have put the notch slightly in the wrong place, but again, I guessed, so it doesn't really matter. I'll just move the bag bracket forward. But yeah, that's basically what's next on the list, I think, because I was going to put this video out tonight, which is Tuesday, but I think I might put it out Thursday so we can get this on and actually have it as a rolling chassis by the end of the video. So, I'm going to go in. But I will join you again tomorrow morning and we will progress further. Right, it is the next morning. Well, it's about lunchtime now. And how things have fallen means I can't actually really do much more in this video. But when I was editing last night, I see it's actually quite a long one anyway. So I'm going to put this video out tonight, being Thursday, and then I'm going to put one out Tuesday, if everything goes to plan, of fitting the 4-link and the air ride on the rear and the front. This is another jumper that's available at Black Friday. It's got ketchup on it, but they don't all come with that. Just this one. So all that Black Friday stuff will be going live from, I guess, midnight tonight. So yeah, go on, check that stuff out. And that helps finance, well, hopefully, if it all goes well, I won't mind buying a ramp, so I don't have to keep stealing Chris's.
How long does the Black Friday last till, Jack?
Monday.
Monday night, midnight?
Monday, yeah, midnight.
Midnight tonight till Monday midnight? I like it.
Minimum. But yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed this one. I enjoyed it, for a change, considering it was mostly just Welding.
I'll be honest, I've been a bit jealous, because I've been working on normal vans and stuff, and Jack's been having a lovely fun time doing chassis stuff.
Yeah, you've got to choose your path in life.
Choose your path in life, brother.
So yeah, come back Tuesday, subscribe if you're not, so you don't miss it. Come back Tuesday and we'll do some air ride stuff. Fun air ride things. Like and subscribe, thanks for watching. Just to make my life really hard, Chris has just said that actually I should probably just put everything on Black Friday live from when this video goes out. So it's actually all live now, so enjoy.
Yeah. I want a house in the hills I pay big bills for. I ain't got in pocket. I want to empty out my wallet. I want to stop motion, stand still. Wallace and Gromit. I want to talk more endlessly. I want to neurotically vomit. I want more dollars from my mama. I want a palace in Prada. I want a Gucci bag where I can store my